starting a savings challenge is really popular right now. I've been seeing all kinds of videos across social media of people showing off, big 3-ring binders full of cash that they've saved, and they're so proud of their savings discipline and so forth. And so I wanted to kind of explore this topic because having a savings challenge is a great way to both build up your nest egg, as well as being able to work on your kind of flexing your financial muscles and build that financial discipline that's needed to kind of pay yourself forward and pay your future self in terms of putting money aside towards an emergency fund, towards retirement, or even if you're saving for a smaller goal, such as buying a new car or a vacation or any other project that you're savings for. Having a savings challenge for yourself can be really fun and really effective at being able to stay motivated and do what it needs to be done to not spend all your money today and put aside some for other projects and kind of have that foresight for yourself. So let's look at 7 steps to having a savings challenge here. So the number 1 is to define your goals. So like we talked about a second ago, you want to look at what is your goal? What are you saving for? Are you trying to get a emergency savings fund to get put together of like 3 to 6 months of emergency expenses? Are you putting money aside towards retirement because you realize that you didn't start saving for retirement as early as you would have liked to, and so you're playing catch up now? Are you saving for a car? Are you saving for a vacation? Are you saving for a down payment on a home? What are you saving for exactly? So really get clear on what your goal is and write down on a piece of paper or in your notes, just jot down what you're saving for and how much it costs. To go do the research, because if you're thinking about, oh, I want to buy a new car, it's like, well, which car do you want and how much it costs? And are you buying new or used, or are you leasing? So there's a lot of different things, right, that go into this. So get really clear on what you're saving for and kind of what number we're talking when we're looking at this particular item. Number 2 then is to choose your challenge type. So there's various types of savings challenge. Some of the more popular ones are the 52-week challenge. So basically where you start at the beginning of the year or wherever you are in the year on week 1 with saving $1, and then the second week you save $2, and the third week you save $3, and you just go on like that. And so by the end of the year, you're saving up to $52 a week. So that's kind of a fun one that you could look into. Another one is the no spend challenge. I've been seeing this all over social media lately, just probably because of the cost of living crisis. Suddenly things like budgeting and being frugal and not spending money become very popular when there's cost of living crises like we're in right now. And so maybe you want to look at a no spend challenge and look at how you can cut back on discretionary spending for maybe a month, maybe longer, to be able to put money towards this goal that you have. And then another one is a monthly savings challenge. So you might set aside a certain amount of money that you want to save towards your project each and every month throughout the year. So kind of think through like what of that sounds good to you and how you want to structure that. The third thing you want to do is set up an account where you're going to put your money. Now, unlike some of the videos that I've been seeing on Instagram and TikTok, I really don't recommend that you stuff a 3-ring binder full of cash. I know they're like visually really satisfying to kind of like flip through the pages and see all that cash, but I really don't recommend that you do that because your cash is not working for you in that respect in terms of it's not making you any interest. So what I would recommend that you do instead is open a high yield savings account. I'll link to my video down in the description box of one that I made about the top high yield savings accounts for 2024 in terms of yield. But pop your money into a high yield savings accounts instead. They're insured by the FDIC in case of a bank collapse, for example, and they're going to be making you between 4 and perhaps 6% interest rate per year, just depending on what account you open and the terms that you get. But I would highly recommend that you put your money in a high yield savings account, and preferably one that's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You might have it at another bank entirely than the one you normally bank at. Kind of whatever it takes, but just so that money's not right in front of your face. Because if it's out of sight, out of mind, believe me, you're far less likely to just be like, oh, we ran the credit card over this month, so let's pull a little from savings and then we can pay that off. So if it's out of your main area that you look at every single day when you're paying bills and so forth, it's just less tempting to spend it if it's kind of out of your main bank account. So you can look into that as well. And then just have it so that it's making you some money versus you're just putting money under your mattress. And that's going to make your money work harder for you while you're doing the savings challenge. Number 4 is to then choose your tracking methods. So what you want to do at this point is figure out kind of how are you going to track what you're putting in savings every month. So this might be through a budgeting app like YNAB, or it's called, You Need a Budget, YNAB. It might be through something like that. It might be just through a simple Excel spreadsheet. I'll link to my video below about how to budget in Excel. So whatever is most convenient for you, just get something set up so you can track how much you're saving every single month, or how that's working your savings challenge, just so you can kind of check off each month that you've put money into that. Number 5 is to automate your savings. So if possible, the best thing to do in terms of this is to kind of do what's called a pay yourself first method, so that you basically have the money you've earmarked for savings automatically come straight out of your paycheck and go into your savings account. And so that way it's not where you're going to look at it all the time, and it's just completely like straight to savings right off the bat. And so that way you're not thinking about your entire income as like, oh, I could spend all this. It's already taken off the top and out of sight, out of mind again. So it's kind of like a little mind game you can do on yourself that just pops that over into your savings account. And studies have shown that that's a very effective way to save consistently over time, is just automate those transfers from your paycheck or even from your employer to your savings account. So if you have a kind of paycheck that works with that, that's great. If you have one where maybe you're a contractor or your income kind of comes in steadily throughout the month and that's not practical, that might not work as well. But if you're on a monthly, weekly, bi-weekly paycheck, that might be a great option for you. Number 6 is to stay motivated. So that's where you want to just kind of regularly check in and see where you are with your savings goals, see if you're progressing the way you want to. If you have a month or two where you can't save as much as you'd like to, don't stop your savings challenge. Keep working at it just like a little bit at a time, even if you have to contribute less, because it's really about making it a habit, a lifelong habit of saving money. And the savings challenge might just be the way to kick that off for yourself and build like a really strong financial habit for yourself for the rest of your life, which is going to be really exciting. Also, too, I find that when I'm saving for various projects, it's really helpful to visualize what I'm saving for. So that might be visualizing driving the car that I'm saving for, visualizing how I'm going to feel on that vacation, or visualizing what it'll be like to be at closing and be getting handed the keys. So it can be really helpful to have good, strong visualization about what you might even try, like a vision board or something, and put it where you can see it, to just visually remind yourself why you're not spending all your money today and all the things that we've got right here in front of us that we could spend money on, and why you're putting this aside for later. That can help you stay motivated and stay strong in the face of all the pressure to consume that we face these days in our modern society. Number 7, and finally, is to review and reflect. So once you've finished your savings challenge, whether that was like a 52-week one or a month or two, then really go back and reflect on it and look at what went well, what didn't go well, what you can do differently. And then if you've met that savings goal for that project, good for you. And then start another savings challenge. Think of the next thing you're wanting to save up for and just go ahead and roll right straight over into the next one. And it can just become a really great reinforcing cycle where you set a goal, make a plan, you reach that goal, and then you're like, oh, this is great. And it really builds a lot of confidence as well, as you're able to make a plan towards a goal, get there, and look back then and celebrate your wins. So always make sure to celebrate your wins, even if maybe they don't seem that massive. Just celebrate them anyway. Celebrate the small wins. You don't have to wait for the big wins to celebrate yourself, and to celebrate the progress that you're making in your financial life and in leveling up your money. And then set a new savings challenge and then get started on the next one. And please let me know in the comments too if you've done a savings challenge before, and what method, if there's probably other ones that I didn't mention here, what method worked best for you, and kind of how long it took you to get where you wanted to go, how you felt when you got there, and just how that all went. I'd be really curious to hear from you in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again soon in my next video.